Hello and welcome to the DJ Force 10 in Conversation podcast, episode 172. And my very special guest on today's show is Elias, the frontman from the band Nonpoint. They are currently celebrating their 20th anniversary of the album Statement. It's another one. I can't believe it's been 20 years. It's crazy, but they've been doing stuff over the past month, releasing live shows, live footage, stuff like that. But they're actually doing a live show on the 10th of October. So I implore you to check that out. Check their website, nonpoint.com. Get a ticket for it. They're $10, 10 cents, but the show begins at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I think that works out around about 2 a.m. UK time. But for my American people, it's at a reasonable time for you guys. But if you purchase the tickets for it, you do get to see it on demand after that for the next 48 hours. So you can do that and you can watch it afterwards. So unless you want to stay up at 2 a.m., which unfortunately I can't do. I go to sleep relatively early, I guess. But yeah, I'll be sleeping at that point because I'll probably have work the next day. And but yeah, do check it out. I'll be checking it out the next day. So I'm going to be picking up a ticket for it. But it's worth it. $10, 10 cents. It's about £7 in English money. Depending on the exchange rate at the time, but it's worth it for a live performance they're doing. They put a lot of work into it. There's, like I say, some vignettes and all that kind of stuff in between the songs, so it sounds like a really, really good idea. So, but apart from that, please support the artists as well. Not just the guys in the bands, but the guys behind the bands as well. The guys that are there before the shows, the guys that are there after the shows, and it's, you know, it's all those people that make the shows happen, and they're the ones that are suffering because their income has been severely cut with all these guidelines and all that stuff. The creative arts sector has really taken a hit. I know a lot of people have taken hits during this time as well. I've got friends who have been made redundant and all that kind of stuff, which absolutely fucking sucks. And everyone needs a little bit of help on this time, but because music is so close to me, I've worked in it for so long, and I know so many people in the industry, and I know how much they're hurting right now. Please support, if you have the means to do so, please support these people because they do need it. I know I said it in the last show as well, and I'm going to say it again, they do need this help. So just to sort of let you know as well, my show on Total Rock is still going. I've got a show called Crossing the Streams, if you haven't heard it, or any of the new listeners coming to the show. But any of the old listeners should know about it. But it's on every Sunday at 6 p.m. UK time on Total Rock. That's totalrock.com for the player. Or you can get it via TuneIn, or you can ask your smart speaker, go, hey, I'm not going to say it because it might trigger everything. But play Total Rock, and it will. Mine does it. My home speaker and everything does it as well. So please do that, and tune into the other shows on there as well. Some absolute amazing shows on that radio station. It's just one of the few, if one of the very few, in fact, that plays a radio station that plays every genre of rock. And metal, obviously, but it's got shows that go to the sort of like real extreme blackened death metal side of things, to the sort of AOR middle of the road rock shows, and everything in between. And my show is that kind of like hybrid electronic rock mix show. It's like you go to a nightclub to hear a DJ mix a bunch of songs and stuff like that, and I do that with rock and metal and remixes and mashups and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like have that kind of like remix in the rock radio thing going on. And yeah, please check it out, totalrock.com for the stream on there. It's on the TuneIn app, like I said, probably via some other radio apps as well, but like I said, your smart speaker, if you ask it to play Total Rock, every experience I've had with whatever smart speaker, it has played it. So please do that. That would be awesome. And that's why I've got the Total Rock logo slapped on the web graphics for these things as well, because I want to advertise the station. I want to sort of like, get it to a point where because they had lots of listeners, and they've still got lots of listeners, but we want to get more listeners because we've been going 20 years, and I've been part of that for about 7 or 8 now, and it's another 20th anniversary. But yeah, we 20 years, and it's gone through thick and thin. It's gone through name changes. It's gone through all that kind of stuff as well, and just all that kind of stuff, and it's just it's got a very pure black heart in there, if you will, as well. There's a lot of we have like monthly meetings now where we get to like talk to all the other DJs around the world, and it's just nice to sort of actually put some faces to the names and actually feel part of a family in that respect as well. Not that we didn't before, but this is kind of it, like over lockdown it's increased it because we kind of adopted the Zoom culture and all that kind of stuff as well. So it's been really cool. So check out TotalRock.com, check out Nonpoint.com, and if you've got a couple of minutes to support the show, all I'm asking from you is not money in any way. It's just hitting the ratings. So giving me a 5-star review, writing up a little sentence saying, "Oh, I love this show," or something like that, on whatever platform you're listening on. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube, give me a like on Facebook, whatever. Give it a favourite on Mixcloud. Give it a 5-star review on iTunes. However, the Spotify, give me a follow on Spotify, in fact, actually. That's a nice little feature on there. And any other sort of like podcast platform you listen to this on, because I did a bit of market research recently, and there's a whole bunch of you on different things. So whatever the rating system is on there, please whack a 5-star review, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to give. Leave a sentence, because this helps raise the profile of the show primarily, but it also helps the artists that I have on the show as well. So, I mean, some of them that I've interviewed probably don't need the help because they're already kind of, world famous. But there are the other bands that aren't. They've got, they're sort of like local to the UK, or they're local to the sort of area they're from, and they've not been heard outside of there. So it's kind of like up to platforms like mine to really kind of like elevate those bands up and get people listening to them. And the ratings and reviews and all that kind of stuff helps. So it doesn't cost anything to do it. Hit the subscribe button if you've got it on a subscription service or anything like that. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything. I'm not selling you anything apart from this music that people are producing. But I don't get a kickback from it or anything like that. But I just want to get more exposure for these guys and kind of make it, show up for them and actually sort of give them metrics from it. Because I've been asked by various like press agents and stuff like that, metrics about the show, and I can give them kind of broad metrics, ones I get from various sources. But if there's anything that's kind of like concentrated after a band's been on, I like to report that back to them. But yeah, please, 5-star reviews, all that kind of good stuff help massively. So please do that. Anyway, without much further ado, because I've been rambling now for about 8 minutes by the looks of it, so I apologise for that. And I know you're here for Elias of Nonpoint, so I'm not going to delay you any further. Or maybe I won't. Here it is. This is Elias from Nonpoint. Enjoy. So I'd like to welcome to my show this week. I have Elias. He is the frontman from the band Nonpoint. Welcome, Elias.
I just want to thank you. First of all, thank you for pronouncing my name properly. Even from over the pond, you still you nailed it.
Yeah, right. I try to. That's all good, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm down in South Florida in my normal stomping grounds, Fort Lauderdale, and soaking in as much of the warm weather as I can before I have to head back up to where I'm based out of the Midwest, where it's actually freezing right now. So
yeah.
Enjoying it while I can.
Yeah, I was going to say you better enjoy it while you can. There's nothing quite like the Floridian heat. I know, it's that. It's certainly coming back to England. Literally, yes, that is very true. That's the one part I don't miss, but everywhere's air conditioned and it's generally all right at that point.
Yeah, you dive into the AC as quickly as you can.
Yes, definitely. So, how is Fort Lauderdale at the moment? How's it doing down that way?
It's a little cloudy, but it's the weather's beautiful. It's muggy 87 degrees, but having grown up here, my body immediately recognizes it as home, so it gives me all the good vibes, man.
Excellent. No, that's cool. So, we're here to talk about Statement as it's celebrating its 20th anniversary.
Indeed,
your album, that is, and I've been going back that far. I've been fortunate to have a few bands on my show recently that are doing the same thing. They're celebrating a 20th anniversary of their album. So I had Jared from Head P. I had a couple of British bands, 1 Minute Silence, Earth Tone 9, Pitch Shifter. And these are all bands around that time, including yours, that kind of really had a massive impact on me. I really love that album, Statement. I love Mind Trip.
Thank you.
The opening track, that was the first I heard of you guys. I was at a stage of like just buying albums. I had disposable income, so
right.
Things have changed since then. But
indeed,
yes. But no, I really love, like I say, Mind Trip, Double Stacked. I was trying to think of other songs off of it. No,
yeah, that record had a bit of a freedom to it, and having been our first record, some of those songs were written in the scene with no curation or direction from a producer or anyone else. So there were some songs like Mind Trip and like Double Stack that were scene songs that. We, for the lack of a better example, we kind of put our foot down and said, hey, these kind of got to stay the way they are. So yeah. I'm glad that it had that effect. We're actually looking in that direction with some new stuff as we move forward. So
nice.
I'm glad that it made that kind of impact.
Excellent. Hey, no, it's all good. It was just, how does it feel to have something like, now you've kind of got a legacy. You've got, was it 10 studio albums? I think it is, because your last album was
yep.
10.
Yep.
10. So like 20 years on from where you were then to where you are now, what's the sort of like, off that album, what was the biggest impact for you?
Off that album, I would say it was definitely What a Day. What a Day was such a monumental song for our reach at that time.
Yeah,
it really kind of set the pace, and then when we moved to a couple of records later, when we hit it with Bullet with a Name, it that's when it stretched even further.
Yeah, no, I mean it's quite cool because like I mentioned beforehand, I lived in Florida for a good period of time, and actually hearing your stuff on rock radio it was great, because it's the one thing we kind of lack here in the UK is a dedicated like rock radio kind of, even if it is a commercial radio station, we don't really have it. We've got a couple of like internet ones. I work for one myself. I've got a show on there, but it's not quite the same. I mean, going on to like 20 years later, having something on rotation,
right,
on these shows.
You know what? I feel like that has a lot to do with what drives the distribution and the marketplace that is music and the music industry, quote unquote. You're putting your dollars where they just work the best.
Yeah.
I advertise to men and women. I address men and women when I write, when I answer a question. I consider all of those things. When it's a machine like a corporation or something like advertising, the money goes where it doesn't matter if as far as genre, that's almost like a female or male. If I were to put my smart money into advertisement, I would only advertise to men, because 78% of my analytics come from, males.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to spend 100% of my advertising on something that I knew was going to work, that's what I should do. But as an artist, and knowing that I want to make sure that I'm also addressing, women, because I have female fans, I don't dare just address men or advertise to just men. So when it comes to radio, they're, smart advertisers are going to put their money where they have the most reach. And right now, the actual listening and the audiences, unfortunately, are coming from pop and coming from hip hop and coming from R&B, because those audiences are going to radio to gobble up their content, as opposed to rock. You got to think about where rock came from. We were trading tapes and, meeting up in basements and playing records. And then that's where it spawned from. So the culture itself is rested in the community, as opposed to waiting to hear what's next from radio. We decided in rock what was next, and radio followed. And that's why radio stations here in the States, they still basically listen to their fans. But in order to please their advertisers, obviously they got to go with the numbers.
Yes. Yeah. No, I know. So obviously they're still playing like the big Metallica songs, the big, Alice in Chains and stuff like that. So
right, the top 20 is the same every single radio rock station. It's Five Finger, Godsmack.
Yeah.
It's that same, and then one of those big 10 or 15 comes out with something new, and then they rotate, and then the rest is just new music popping in, from there. So again, that's marketplace doing what's smart and what advertisers are saying they need to do in order to gain their dollars.
Yeah.
So it's a juggling act.
Yes. Yeah. No, I can imagine. It's quite a thing. I mean, obviously, keep on the sort of 20 years thing of having. Initially you were with MCA or Geffen at that point, and how has that impacted you? Obviously, you've kind of gone through a couple of labels, and a couple of them have got bought out, and you guys got bought out of your contracts and whatnot. It happened to a lot of bands at the time. How has that kind of impacted you as a creative? Those outlets obviously becoming less and less, but the opportunities that kind of came about from all of them.
Well, it's not really about those becoming less and less driving our decisions. It's us realizing that there's more and more opportunity by it being in our hands. There's more profit by it being in our hands. Again, it's old machine and old culture. And as technology, distribution, and everything becomes more and more independent and easier for artists to distribute and to profit and to continue, that kind of stuff, you just get tired of looking over at the giant machine and going, hey, why can't we move that fast? Even with all our finances and all our teams, why is it that they're dropping six songs, 8 songs a year, and I can only get 1 a year? Is it really worth me giving up that much of a profit share for me to feel stifled? And a lot of times you move from label to label for obvious reasons. Hey, we don't want to spend this amount of money to do this kind of thing. Well, I can generate that kind of dollar on my own in order to release something. So do I really need you?
Yeah.
Can I just go to a distribution house now that in my 10 record career, I've seen it go from 36 labels to 12 labels to 6 labels to the big 3?
Yeah.
And then all of these other independent labels literally killing it and being bought out by these larger labels because they are so nimble, because they don't have to go through so many levels to accomplish something as simple as dropping a song.
Yeah.
So you start realizing that am I now hindering my brand and my ability to move quickly and to change with the times? And that's why you've always seen Nonpoint moves from label to label to label. It's because, well, at this point, does it really make sense for us to do it, since we're basically almost doing it either on our own or we're not doing it on our own, and it's really not working for our model, that we can't tour and be as profitable as we normally are, knowing that that's where our big dollars are, that there is no equal timing to label versus touring because of miscommunication. as you realize, why are we dealing with all this miscommunication when I can just pull the trigger myself, and I have a team that's not only competent, but I have the finances to accomplish it myself.
Yeah.
Just like Metallica. Metallica doesn't have a label.
Yeah.
For a reason. It's because they're like, why are we giving, literally 90% of our profits to basically be generating the dollars all in all?
Yeah. Yeah. And is that the sort of model you are taking forward now with the potential of new material
Absolutely.
and things? Yeah.
Oh,
Excellent.
absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
It's such a good time to do it as well. Like, it's weird. I mean, obviously, I was in the music industry in a band around through the early 2000s, and I saw it go from one sort of like you say, the old style kind of evolving into the new style. I hadn't like fully evolved once I sort of stepped away from it, but doing it on your own, like, there is so much more freedom with that. Like you say,
yeah, and then also too, you're in control of your art 100%. You don't have to get covers, approved. Oh, we really don't like this cover. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? It's our cover. That's the cover. Take it or fucking leave it. What else do you want me to say? This is our cover. This is what we feel like artistically represents this record. Unless it's a naked woman on the cover or a giant word fuck across the cover, we should not have a problem. So that's the kind of, control we wanted back.
Yeah.
Especially if it's on our dime.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got a whole creative vision as well. It's not just the words and the music. There's the art with it as well, like you just adhered to. It was, that whole package is your creative outlet. That is what you're presenting to the world, and like you can't have it go through. What they used to call them suits.
A filter. Yeah,
a filter.
It has to go through a filter, and that kind of stuff waters things down, and it makes you, as an artist, not feel like you can stand on your own 2 feet once it's released. You'll always wonder, would it have gone better had I made all of the decisions that I wanted to make with my artwork? And that's what labels and independent labels and everyone really have to understand, is that the reason that you got into that artist is because they had a vision. People have to stop pushing their vision into these artist teams.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of like trying to live through your child or something like that. It's like,
absolutely,
giving that your
cut
dream.
The umbilical cord.
Exactly. No, and I think that's the way. I mean, a lot of the music, because obviously, like you say, you've seen it kind of like shrink, if you will, to like 12 to 6 to 3 on the big label front, and I, and there are a lot of independent labels and bands just going at it on their on their own. Because the business model that you can actually put together now, there's no stranglehold, especially when it comes to distribution. And
it's a bit prehistoric, really, especially for the amount of spend and the amount of profit share that you're trading off for the amount of commitment and art that you're offering up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely it's like I say, it's a good time to do it because everyone's kind of in the same ballpark at the moment. So when it comes to,
time for the, labels and independent labels and everybody to start, restructuring things a bit to kind of help artists survive and not feel so slighted.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That would help as well.
I mean, especially right now as well. I mean, over here in the UK, they've just announced a kind of like smaller sort of like lockdown situation. But the arts sector is going to be severely damaged, even more than it is already.
We need these teams. We need these artist teams and these label teams. It's not like their professional know-how and their processes aren't extremely valued to the industry. But it's about being smart, that maybe a 7th car for me isn't the best thing, so that way these artists can do something other than live hand to mouth on a poverty level kind of salary and be on Medicaid in order to stay healthy. And that kind of stuff is something that the industry really should realize, that it needs to kind of start giving some of that up, so that way artists can perform better.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I've seen you guys live like I said before, I've seen you guys live a couple of times. A couple of times here in England, and once in St. Pete at State Theatre. I think it was back in 2017.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was the anniversary tour, or like a 20th anniversary tour. I think it was. I'm trying to think back, but it was like one of the last gigs I went to in St. Pete.
Yeah, it was. It was 20th anniversary. That's right.
And I've loved the live show. I saw you back, like I say, in England. I think it was either the Garage or the Underworld. Oh god, that's probably back in like 2000, 2002-ish. I think around that time.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I sort of like, no, I've really enjoyed your live shows. You're very energetic, and I think like just sort of like how do you sort of like maintain that over the years? What's your sort of like routine when it comes to these shows these days? So obviously, 20 years on, if I'm looking at myself, I'm kind of
obviously, well, yeah, obviously it's catching up a bit, but I do best I can to keep myself stretched out, and I try to pace myself, during the shows. It's really just about getting my voice, keeping my voice strong. But the rest is, the obvious stuff: drink water, get rest, and don't party too hard. Honestly, that's what I can attest our longevity is that, we hit it. When we hit it hard, we know we got a day off the next day. We don't let what we do behind the scenes hurt what people feel like their ticket's worth.
Nice. Excellent. So what have you guys been doing for the 20th anniversary, like sort of celebrations this year? I know you've got a live stream coming up. On the 10th.
On 10/10/2020, we're going to do Statement, our first record from beginning to end.
Nice.
And then it's going to be a live broadcast. We're going to take some breaks between songs. We've done a couple practice runs, and we decided that it's best for performance-wise, and also, too, we've got some great content that we want to cut and put in between. So we set up timers, and we got towels that we're going to all have so we can wipe off in between songs, and then literally have the stuff playing live during the podcast, so we know exactly when we're going to have to start the next song, and do like a live experience. Nice. People miss concerts, and this really isn't going to be that concert thing. There aren't going to be lights flying everywhere and everything. We just want to do the record justice, play it from beginning to end in the order, and during the breaks, tell a little bit of that story of 20 years of making a statement. Yeah.
No, that sounds awesome. I was looking it up a few days ago, and I would love to be awake for that, to be honest with you, because it's at 9:00 Eastern, which is 2 a.m. here, most likely.
The good part about it, 48 hours afterwards, you can watch it.
Yes.
You can continue to watch it.
No, that's what I was going to mention on that front. And tickets are available for anyone who wants to watch it as well. I'm taking it as the tickets are $10.10, right?
Yes, 10/10 on 10/10/2020.
Nice. I like how that works together. That's brilliant. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm going to try and watch the repeat live stream.
Awesome
on that front. And this sounds really cool. Like, because I love the way a lot of artists are adapting to this situation. Because obviously it's not ideal for anyone, but the way like some of the artists have gone and they're doing live performances online, or they're doing like AMAs or Q&As and things like that. I've been fortunate enough to do this podcast over this time. I had a podcast prior to lockdown, but I really ramped up everything over it, and it's just been absolutely like just mind blowing, because it's kind of I think the term was building a plane in flight for the sort of situation that we're in.
Same thing. Yeah, you got to be nimble. You got to pivot and do what you can to survive. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So I applaud you, sir.
Yeah. No, it's just one of those things where you just kind of like, you don't know what to do. No one knows. But just like seeing artists like you, like going out there and doing this kind of like online experience where, you could do it like, it could be a concert. It could be live in person, but obviously we're not in that position. But having like the sort of the thing that you've got of like entwine like the stories behind the album and entwine with the songs like through it, performing completely the whole thing live and just making it a whole performance out of the whole
thing. This is going to be a story about our last 20 years. There's some questions that I needed to ask my drummer of the last 20 years. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? What was this song about? And even, the new members, which, by the way, are performing this flawlessly.
Nice.
It sounds so good. They even posed some questions that we caught on camera that I was like, I had no idea myself, or I forgot that story, and it was fun to tell them. So you're going to get a perspective of even from the new members going, hey, I was trying to figure this out, or, I never knew this. This was a song that brought me to you guys. So to be playing it 20 years later, and, it's going to be an amazing event.
That's amazing. Yeah, I look forward to it. And if anyone else wants to go see it, it's on your site, nonpoint.com. Tickets are available through there, and all that kind of good stuff. So I implore everyone to go and check that out. It's worth it.
Yeah, and then we got lead up shows that are low dose shows. They're $3.61 for anyone that knows our fan group. It's 361 Family. Yeah. We got some rebroadcasts. So if you're missing like the old school shows when we were shoulder to shoulder, we're for the 3 Saturdays leading up to 10/10. We've been posting up those rebroadcasts of those sold out shows. Nice. For people to watch. This Saturday is Fort Lauderdale. Again, you can watch them for 48 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
But that was a sold out show during the Poison Red tour.
Nice.
So you're going to be able to watch that show. I think that was 23 songs.
Nice.
And then the following Saturday is a double feature. It's 2 shows at the world famous Flint's Machine Shop. And then the following Saturday is going to be the Statement show. So you got a whole month long of just basically virtual touring with us if you want to come along for the journey. Brilliant.
I absolutely love that. And I really love the Poison Red, by the way. I was going to have a chat about that in a moment. But yeah, no, I really love that album. That's the one that kind of, I have Statement and I have Development. And then I think I kind of lost you guys after that. If that makes sense. I think just sort of like the way things change and everything. But then I saw you guys releasing that in 2015?
Yep.
Around about then. Yep. And I just took a dive at it, bought it in Best Buy. And love it. I thought it was great. And then like when you released 10, a few years later after that, I was just, I was back on the sort of like non-point wagon, if you will. So, the Poison Red was really good. I was just sort of... Not, and I've gone back and listened to things like Recoil and stuff like that as well, and I love those. But no, I just thought the Poison Red was quite, like, for that time, for me.
Poison Red was another, us, really going back to our roots, but at the same time we were, raising the bar on our production and how deep we wanted to go with textures and different styles, but still staying on that, aggressive, let's go get it kind of vibe that, our sparked our beginnings. So, well, I love playing tracks off that record.
That's awesome. And I love 10 as well. I really love Chaos and Earthquakes. I thought that was a really good track.
That one again. Yeah, that's us playing with that staying on that vibe of keeping it, back to our beginnings.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm enjoying listening to the albums I hadn't heard as well. So, thanks to the beauty of streaming, it does have its uses. Through I pay for a service, but I get to go back and listen to albums that I've missed. And doing these sort of podcasts has been like absolutely brilliant for that, because I've interviewed like guys like you, Head PE, stuff like that, and it's just like going back onto some albums that I missed. I think purely because there was like either very little UK sort of coverage, or it was when I was over in the States and not really looking at US press still, and stuff like that, until I sort of like cottoned on to that side of it, and I got into a whole heap of bands that I hadn't heard before, and I've sort of gone from there really. But no, like I said, the Poison Red is up there with one of my favourite albums. So
awesome. Yeah, you got to dig for them sometimes, but they're out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got a couple of more questions for you, Elias, and I'll let you go on with the rest of your day. All right. If that's cool. So these are sort of what I want to find out are 3 pivotal albums for you. So 3 albums that kind of, or the album that kind of got you into music or really inspired you to become the person that you are today.
3 pivotal albums. I would say I'm just going to pick Dark Side because it was during that classic rock time of my life where I was like, okay, it matters what you sing. It matters what a melody is. It matters that a song feels like a song. So as far as like writing a cool song that wasn't just the regular song, that I would have to say Dark Side for the most part, even at a young age of, 9, 10, 12, I knew that there was something there that made it special, and it was always going to be one of my favorite records. Nice. Second would probably be, as far as pivotal, I would say Korn's first record.
Okay, cool.
And it was really only because of the experience that it led me to, which was seeing them on the Life is Peachy tour and feeling that, okay, and looking up on stage and going, okay, I can do that.
Nice.
So it was more of like the excitement of going, that looks like something that I would love to do all the time.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to be on stage, but it didn't click like it did at the UCF amphitheater when I saw them, Helmet, and Limp Bizkit together.
Oh, nice.
That was when I knew it was like, so that's why it couldn't have, it really wasn't, the music is awesome. That record is pivotal in rock and will always be.
Yeah.
But as far as what it did, as far as driving me, that record, I think, was the record that led me to be here.
Nice.
Then from there, I would say pivotal for listening. My last one would be the first Circus Survive record, Juntra.
Okay.
Juntura, I think it's Juntura. Because that was a record that brought me back after being so jaded with music and the writing process and being part of the industry, and my love for music being whittled at and pecked at and dissected for so many years, that when I found Circus Survive, I was like, okay, I love music again.
Nice.
It's not a job. It's not so much of a job right now. So I found myself going to their concerts and leaning over the barricade, 4 records into Nonpoint, screaming Circus Survive at one of their shows.
Nice.
So that was, so as far as pivotal, I picked those 3.
No, that's great. I mean, Dark Side is that, it's legendary. First,
there isn't a better.
No. I can't bring it. There's nothing I can say that would make it any, different. But the first Korn album, I love the first Korn album as well. Again, it was one of my introductions to that kind of sound. Them and Deftones were the sort of like pivotal kind of bands for me at that point. The Adrenaline album and
I love the Deftones more than I love Korn. I love Deftones music. I own more Deftones records than I own Korn records. I adore their music. Yeah, it's just that record was pivotal in my life.
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
For everybody going, he picked Korn's first record. What the fuck? No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with it. I loved that record, and it changed my life for forever.
Yeah.
Deftones is like candy for me.
Yeah.
I could eat it all day.
Yeah, no, and they got a new album out on Friday, so
I know.
No, I was going to say this is the reason I asked this question, because I could go, what are your 3 favorite albums? But I always want the pivotal ones. I want the ones that dropped people into these situations, and it's not always like the band's best album, but it's it's something that it's personal to you at some on that front.
Absolutely.
So, and the Circus Survive, I've not heard that one, so I'm gonna have to check that one out.
You got to listen to every single one of their records. Start at the first one.
I will
just start at the first one and just go.
I will line it up on my music service and go for that. No, that's good, because that's the other reason I asked this, is if there are any albums I haven't checked out or haven't heard, and that is definitely that's one of them. So I'm like, that
awesome.
I've got it highlighted on my thing here.
Yes.
So what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not doing stuff Nonpoint, all that kind of stuff, or any kind of music business type stuff, what do you do to kind of unwind and get away from it?
I really love to vacation with my family.
Nice.
Recently I've really gotten into camping. The weather's starting to change, so we had to pull out of that. I love playing video games with my daughter.
Nice.
I have a 9-year-old that I'm basically playing professor with. So one of my hobbies right now is playing Mario Party with my daughter.
Excellent. I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Outside of that, I really love to. I'm a bit of an entrepreneur, so I like to get into business strategies. And it sounds boring and crazy, but I really like to get into marketing strategies and getting into what really drives my audience and the people that feel a certain level of entertainment from things that I love to do.
Yeah.
I just want to do them better and better and get them out there the best way that I can. And I know the best way to do that is knowing how to do it. So I like diving into that as well. I'm a bit of a creative, so anything attached to what I do, is what wakes me up every morning. Yeah,
and it's certainly what keeps you nimble, like we were talking about earlier. Because if you have that kind of entrepreneurial sort of mindset of needing to adapt or needing to sort of find out what people are, how people are doing stuff, and to market whatever they're doing, be
it's
it
a hobby
or and that that's great. And obviously playing games with your daughter, I do that as well, with my daughters, and I love it. I love playing video games with them. So it's Minecraft or The Sims or something like that.
It's a good excuse.
Oh yeah, totally.
Man, it's a great excuse to.
Excellent. So that's pretty much what I got for you, man. I was just we already sort of touched on it, but what are your sort of plans beyond this celebration? Do you have any new material coming?
Yes, we have all sorts of stuff coming on the horizon. Next is the anniversary of To the Pain. We know that's coming, the 15th anniversary, so we want to do something special for that. We got Christmas coming, so we're going to have a whole bunch of new Christmas stuff available soon.
Nice.
We got the When Doves Cry cover that we're finally finishing up now that we're going to be getting through and finished with Statement.
Nice.
We had to get off that for a little bit. That took a lot longer than we expected.
Yeah.
We want it to be perfect, and I'll be completely honest to all the fans listening, there's been now 7 different versions of that song. So we want it to be perfect, and we keep going back to certain versions and then saying, okay, we shouldn't have gone back. So, we want it to be as special as In the Air Tonight was. So,
nice.
That's what's coming.
Awesome.
Best way to keep in touch with all that is on our socials. Every single one of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just keep in touch, and we'll keep you informed.
Awesome. Thank you, Elias. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been absolutely great speaking to you. Like I said, I'm a fan, and I'm looking forward to seeing this live experience you've got lined up for everyone. So,
thanks so much. Well, I had a blast talking to you. Please do me a favor, tell the entire world, if you're listening right now, do me a favor, tell a friend, come join us on 10/10/2020 for the Statement show, and follow us on our socials. We always have new merch. We always do special initiatives for essential workers and all the people that are trying to keep us protected. So
cool.
Stay engaged.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.
All right, brother.